We live? Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration, the Power is Within podcast. And today it's just Henry and I. We're working hard, and we may make this a short one tonight, but we want to give you some value. But before we begin, check out my new books on Amazon, Coming Back Home, The True Adventure of Mark Daniels, and The Power is Within, and that is exactly where it's at. So we hope to give you some value here today, that you can realize that you do have power within you to control your destiny. You're not controlled by outside situations and circumstances. So remember that. Tonight's topic is no contact. Did I say that already?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. We're talking about the no contact rule in respects to when your girlfriend dumps you, or it could be your boyfriend dumping you if you're a girl. And what that is I'll read it here what they talk about. It says, no contact rule refers to cutting off all contact with an ex following a breakup. And it's the best method for moving on from an ex. Although some people believe it's the best method to get an ex back. But if you don't change yourself, guess what? She comes back, it's going to be the same old thing over again, because nothing changes, nothing changes. No contact should last for at least a minimum of 60 days, and it includes no texting, no calling, and no interacting on social media. And this is for you, more so than it is for the other person. If you do withdraw your attention from someone, if you're a guy thinking about this, what it does is it makes your attention and your time more valuable. Think about diamonds, gold. Why is it valuable? Because it's rare. Okay, more than likely, if your girlfriend dumped you, or if it got to the point where you had to walk away from her because she's disrespecting you, then you were probably too much there. Maybe you heard something like this. Well, honey, I love you, but I'm just not in love with you. Or this one here, this is a classic. They all say the same things. I just need some space. I need to do some self-searching. I haven't known too many women that do self-searching, although there are some. And a woman who does self-searching, I admire her. But then again, there's a lot of men, too, that don't do self-searching. They want to blame everything on the outside. So I did no contact myself, but it's not... If you do it to get your woman back or to get your guy back, if you're a woman, it's really... And you don't take the time to look within yourself to see where you caused the relationship to get to where she was disrespecting you, or she dumped you, or she left you for someone else, or she cheated. Then if she does come back, or if you get together with another girl and you don't get back with the one that you broke up with, it's going to be the same thing over and over again. You have to change. If you don't change, nothing changes. What do you think about that, Henry?
I've had multiple situations where I've had to do no contact. For the most part, I was with this girl for I think about 2.5 years or so. And I was at home all the time. I was there. She was comfortable with me being at home. And it got to a certain point where she started disrespecting me, which one of the things that she did by disrespecting me was she went and shut off my TV or shut off my console. And I had to actually make her leave, because she wouldn't listen to me.
Yeah, she wouldn't go, so I had to.
And what's it called? I quit talking to her for a couple days, or I quit responding to her text or whatever, and she kind of got erratic because she wasn't used to me not being responsive, being there all the time like I was. Oh, and another thing to add on to, we've asked people to be on the show. They've been too nervous to. I'm over here. I'm nervous. I get all flustered. My face gets red and everything like that, but I still keep going.
Yeah, we've asked a lot of people to be on the show, but everybody's afraid they're going to make a mistake. I think I jumbled up some words as soon as I started here, so it's no big deal. Come be on the show. It's just one of those things that it's like stage fright. I think they say that one of the greatest fear more than death is public speaking. Yeah. So in a way, this is like public speaking.
Yeah, for me, I get nervous. I get really I'm all nervous right now. My face is all red and everything like that.
What would life be if everything was like many guys are afraid, or they have great anxiety about approaching girls because they're afraid of rejection. But what if there was no anxiety? What if there was no fear? Wouldn't it be boring?
There would be no excitement.
There's no challenge. Yeah. I mean, when you do it and you overcome it, regardless of what the girl says, you feel better about yourself because you made the approach.
Yeah.
What was it last week or week before? I met this girl by accident, really nice girl, and she sent me a text message about what we were talking about, and I thought, well, I asked her out. Of course, it was by text. That's much easier.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you got the buffer, the text. I wasn't sure quite how to ask her, but I asked her anyway. I said, hey, let's meet up for a... I didn't ask. A good thing you can do is say, we should meet up at a certain place. I said, hey, we should meet up at Babylon, 7 o'clock Thursday night.
Yeah.
If you're a man, you're leading the way, you're definite, you're solid. You don't say, oh, well, maybe we should get together sometime. It's very indefinite. It's not what a man does.
Yeah.
I set the time. She got back with me in a few hours, and she says, well, I work nights, and but I really appreciate the offer. So her interest level wasn't high enough. So I said, hey, that's fine. I said, if you ever get some free time, let me know. I may hear from her someday. I may not. But at least I asked her.
Yeah. Instead of having you always wonder what.
Wonder. Maybe she wanted me to ask her.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's another thing. I was at this fair one time, and I seen these girls, and they kept walking past, and I was like, next time they walk past, and it's always going to be next time, that's
next
usually
time, yeah. It's safer to do it next time because you don't have to do it now.
But then I was like, you know what, screw it, what do we got to lose? So I went up to the girls and talked to them and everything like that, and nothing ended up happening. I didn't get phone numbers or anything like that, but I definitely felt better about myself the rest of the night because I stood up and I faced that fear,
Yeah, the fear. Fear is always going to be present. I mean, you just want to make friends with it because, well, let's talk about this job we're doing right now. It's the largest job my company's ever had. I bid on it. Let me see. I started bidding on it about, 4, 5, 6 months ago. And then I had to make an amendment. I had to do this, had to do that. And then the bids come in. One of the bids was almost twice as high as mine, but they said they didn't think it was a serious bid. And then the other bid was actually $1,500 lower than mine, but it's such a large amount. It was tens of thousands of dollars. Such a large amount that, and I knew that one of the main players, and he likes my work, and he trusts me, so I got the job. And it was funny because every time I went there to bid the job, it was like, man, it was like a giant. And it's like, how much time is this going to take? But then once I got the job and we got there ready to start, it's like, it didn't look that big at all.
Yeah, once we got started,
we just zoomed through the wash, and I mean, got it done in probably... I thought it would take several weeks or more, and we got it done like in 8 days.
Yeah.
Now we're doing the staining, which is a little more of a process than what we thought it was when we started. It's a 3-step process instead of a 2-step. But the point is, it's the anxiety thinking about it. When you take action towards your goals, just like we say taking action towards the goal of asking someone out, or actually no context is taken.
Yeah.
It's no action, but it's an action. Now, if you just sit there and wait for the girl to call you or the guy, whatever it happens to be, you're not improving. You're not doing anything. That's not really the purpose of no contact. The purpose of no contact is so you can look in yourself. Here's what one of them says. Is this the perspective here? Okay. Why is no contact so important? It gives you perspective. See, you need to look. If you don't change, you end up with the same girl or the same situation with a different girl and a different face, but the same situation. Because you keep attracting to yourself what you are. There's something inside of you that allows relationships to get to the point where they get. And if you don't look within and you just sit around and wait for her to come back, she comes back, guess what? You haven't changed. Why is anything going to be any different? Because the chances of her looking within herself and taking any women are just different. Probably because of eons of evolution where they were the weaker sex, and they still are. For them to take accountability of something, to be responsible, could mean death.
Yeah. Because
the males were always the stronger, they dominated, and that's just the way it was. Nowadays, it's not the same, but still, you're not going to change that evolutionary mindset by, 60 or 80 years of women's liberation. And we're a place where women are not, beaten or are killed because they did something wrong. As where a man can protect himself more often than not, he's going to say, yeah, I made a mistake. He can physically protect himself. So when it comes to women, it's difficult for them to take accountability. I've noticed talking to women a lot of times, it's hard to get a straight yes or no answer out of them.
Yeah.
But it's not that there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not bad-mouthing or belittling women for that. That's just the way women are. Men and women are different. They're more relationship-orientated, as where men are just, let's get to the point. For example, and all men and women know this, if you're going on a trip, the man just wants to get there. The woman wants to stop and smell the roses. She wants to stop here and look at this and look at that. She wants to enjoy the journey. A man's like goal-oriented. He just wants to get there. No, we're not stopping at the bathroom. We're going to go. We got to get there.
Yeah.
We can make this by 12 and this by 4, and we just want to get there. So each men and women are always different. But back to the no contact, like I said, it is for your benefit. So No contact allows you a new perspective on your relationship and the reasons why you broke up. Because if you don't take care of the reasons why you broke up, what's going to be any different when you
Yeah.
get back together? Remaining in contact with your ex will often cloud your judgment and have you long for the good old days rather than see the truth behind the issues that caused the breakup in the first place. They say we have a tendency to look at the past with rose-colored glasses. We don't think about the bad times or why we got to the. But there's a reason why you two broke up. Okay? And if nothing changes on either one of your side, by the time you get, if you get back together or she contacts you, then what's going to be different? Nothing's going to be different. She's going to see the same old guy, whatever. And then you're just really setting yourself up for another heartbreak and taking time to get over it.
Yeah.
But the longer you're away from it, the more you have a perspective on why you broke up or maybe why you didn't like her. Now, if you work on yourself during this time, what you'll find, what I found out, because I've broken up with a lot of girls and I've walked out before they dumped me because I was starting to get disrespected and I don't tolerate that. I'm very patient and tolerant, but eventually I get sick of it and I leave. Okay, I was losing my point there. I forgot where I was going with that. Well, anyway, but you have to change yourself and you have to see what it is within you. I know. By the time, let's say sometimes, because they always come back 6 months, a year, whatever it is. If you're working on yourself, this is where I was going with that. By the time they do come back, more than likely you're not going to be interested.
Yeah.
You're growing, you're changing, and you don't want to go back to what it was. And unless she was growing and changing too, which is very unlikely that both of you will be, then it's going to be the same old thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
Any comments on that, Henry?
I'll say when I got out of my relationship that I was going on with for about 2.5 years, I quit talking to her for about, I would say 3 months. We talked every once in a while when I would want to see my dogs or something like that, but that's it. That's all we had a conversation about. And then when we started talking again, actually talking, I was a completely different person, and she really liked that about me. So we kind of started connecting more.
Yeah, no woman likes a compliant beta male, basically is what that is. Now, contrary to what they tell you, well, it's 50-50. I just had a girl I was talking to online the other day. We were talking, she says, because I wasn't contacting her as much as she was me. Well, I want it to be mutual. It just doesn't work that way. It's never mutual. I mean, a business relationship is mutual, but a romantic, intimate relationship is never mutual.
Yeah.
And if you give as much as the girl gives you, then she's going to get... Women just don't respect that. Now, they'll say they do, and there's some out there maybe that are arguing with me or say that's not how it is, but that is how it is.
Exactly.
If you give the woman the same amount of time and attention she gives you, she loses interest. She gets bored with you. It's almost like, as a man, it seems like you're seeking her approval, and no woman wants an approval-seeking beta male. So it goes on, what is the success rate of no contact rule? Well, I say it's 100% successful if you work on yourself, because that's the real goal, is to become more or better.
Yeah.
I don't like to use the word better because it implies you're not enough. But here it says, the success rate of this rule is usually almost as high as 90% because the person who has broken up will inevitably contact you because of 2 reasons. I don't know what they are. They don't have the 2 reasons there. But they will, too. It's happened to me many times. They always come back. They always contact you. Now, what you decide to do, by the time for me, when they did come back, I did not get back together with them because I had changed and grown. I mean, it's a painful thing when you break up with somebody, even if you're the dumper, and I was the dumper. I mean, technically I was the dumper, but like I said, it got to the point where I was getting disrespected, where it was either I walk away with in my hand or they're going to dump me or whatever. Yeah. So I'm sure that I'd already been cheated on. I know I wasn't a few times. This last time, probably, I don't know for sure, but the signs were there. And what I say to people is, if you think she's cheating, she probably is. If you suspect that, she probably is. And if you haven't been being strong enough, then there's a good chance she is cheating. Okay. How do you know no contact is working? Oh, this is a video. We're not going to play that. Yeah, okay. How does no contact help you move on? It gives you both a chance to heal, make space. Oh, that's another thing you hear from a woman. I just need some space, some time to figure out why she's with you. That's what.
Yeah, seriously.
And move through the confusing transitions from partners to what form your new relationship might take. No contact means just that. No email, text, phone call, social media. Dropping by it means no exceptions, even on their birthday. And that's something people do too sometimes. They think, well, I'll just call her and wish her a happy birthday. As a matter of fact, my latest ex called me and wished me a happy birthday.
Oh.
Although when I was going with her, she couldn't hardly remember my birthday.
Mm-hmm. I want to add on that too. One time with one of Mark's ex-girlfriends, he didn't text her on her birthday or anything like that, or didn't tell her happy birthday, and she texted him and was like, what'd she say? She's like, we've been together for so long, you've always said happy birthday to me, and she's like, and this one time you didn't, blah, blah, this and that, and she just kept going on. But obviously he was doing something right because she texted him and started, but really what she wanted him to do was be like, oh, I'm sorry, I should have texted you, blah, this and that. But he didn't do that. So.
What I noticed too is we're speaking here, my ex, let me see, I hadn't seen her for 6 months or a year, and I left her. And out of the blue, she sent me a happy birthday message. And I've spoken to her off and on since then. I never went to see her, never got together with her because I didn't want to. But then when my birthday came around the next year, she didn't wish me a happy birthday. See? So they're going to contact you, but they'll be acting like it's for some other reason. Like, oh, did I leave my so-and-so, did I leave my thing with you, or did you hear about this? Or they're not going to call up and say, yeah, I miss you, I want to talk to you. Or, I want to hear from you. Or I want to know what's going on with you.
Can you hear us okay, Frank? Have you checked that?
We got the good, okay.
Do me a favor real quick, Frank. Run upstairs real quick and grab me a black t-shirt from my closet. I need to change because this thing is hot. I'm wearing a sweater.
And another thing too, the best way to get over a girl is to make no contact, because it's kind of like when you break your leg. If you break up with somebody, it's painful. Whether you leave them or they leave you, you have to have some time to heal. It's like when you break your leg, you put a cast on there. You don't start walking on it right away. If you try to walk on it right away, you're going to hurt it worse. Same thing here. You need some time away. You need some time to heal. And with all of mine, I was able to, even though it was painful breaking up with them, I was able to leave them, and then after some time passed, I was able to talk to them, and there was no emotional reaction. Yeah. And that's really the only way you get through things, because if you don't deal with the emotions, if you don't deal with the emotions, then they're always going to be there, and they'll be drug up some other time down the road. Okay. What are the stages of no contact? All right. After going through phases of anger, denial, bargaining, and depression, you finally gain acceptance. It's one of the signs that the no-contact rule is working when your well-being and happiness become your prime focus. All right. And here we got, why do men come back after no contact? He or she will come back when he realizes that his previous relationship with you doesn't have proper closure. He wants to repair the relationship. He wants to gain back your friendship. I don't know about that. He wants to make things right. He will come back when he realizes that your no-contact rule is so opposite of your previous relationship. I don't know if I agree with that or not. That's the woman, the guy, but could be. Here, how long does it take no contact to work? See, at the very least, the no-contact rule requires that you keep radio silence for 30 days after the breakup. Yeah, but it depends on how much if you begged and pleaded. Yeah, sometimes people get blocked because the guy won't leave her alone, or maybe the girl won't leave him alone. And it's like they get so sick of you they can't stand. But even after that, a lot of times, if you cut it off, they'll come back because they wonder about you. They wonder what you're doing. They wonder what you're like now, or they forget. And many people, like I said, almost all people look at the past with rose-colored glasses. They remember the good times, not the bad times of why they broke up.
It's easy to do that. It's easy to get in this thought of, like, why did we break up? Or, and then you start thinking about all the good times and you start missing them, and then you want to contact them. But
yeah, what you really need to do, though, is remember, it's better to focus on good memories, because the more good memories you focus on, the more you create things to have good memories about. But you also need to remember why you broke up. If you're the one that walked away, you need to remember why you left, because the relationship was not working.
Frank, get the cat.
The relationship wasn't working, so you had, there was a reason why you left. So to go back to it without repairing yourself or without her, if she's not repairing herself, then really you're going to run right back into the same thing.
Yeah.
And if it was painful for you to leave her, then you're going to be opening that up and doing the same thing again. So there's really no benefit there for you to do that. But if you want to get your girl back, that's about the best way to do it. Especially if you've been begging and pleading and telling her that you're going to, I'll be better, I promise I will.
I've done that. I ain't gonna lie.
No woman wants to supplicate. I was trying to think. I didn't do that in my last marriage, but I did. I went to a psychologist. We went to kind of a counseling, and I was a woman counselor. Never take advice from a woman about a woman. And she told me when she has those episodes and she's throwing a fit, you just need to hold her and tell you loved her. Actually, I did that, and it was like my wife at the time was more repulsed and turned off by me than if I'd have just walked out and said, hey, you get over your fit, I'll come back. Or when you start acting decent, I'll come back. So that didn't work very well. Actually, she despised me more. The nicer I was to her and the more I accepted her ranting and raving, the worse she treated me. The more she disrespected me, the worse it got, and finally I just had to leave because it just didn't work. So it's a good idea not to take advice from a woman about women. Although there are a few women out there that know something about women. I've listened to a couple of them. Okay. Should I delete his number or her number? This is all about...
This is what, from a female's perspective?
This is from a female's perspective. Okay, let's go with this, though. Women have a different idea. That said, you definitely should do whatever to ensure you do not contact him. But that's not going to stop you from contacting him. You can delete or block or whatever. If you're not going to talk to him, it doesn't matter. You just won't talk to him. You got to make a decision to do that. If you stay in constant contact, you will delay your healing. That's true, or more likely hinder it completely. Hit delete when the time is right. Like in all things related to relationships, timing is important. Okay, here you go. Is my ex thinking about me during no contact? Unless your ex is truly dealing with mental problems or genuine clinical character flaws, that is not the case. It is most likely that your ex still cares about you and thinks about you during no contact. That does not mean you should reach out to them. We sometimes make too big of a deal about a relationship. I guess we get attached to people, and then we break up and we act like it's almost like it's the death of. It's not so much losing the woman as it is the death of the dream or what you thought you were going to have with her.
Yeah, that's true. I've had that same situation. Even sometimes I'll be talking to a girl, I'll be with a girl, and I'll have their number or something like that, and that makes me more tempted to want to text them or something, That kind of has been my experience, so.
Yeah, sometimes, usually when I'm tired or when I'm feeling a little low, and you never want to make decisions when you're low. That's usually the wrong decision. You might want to contact or reach out to an ex because you start remembering, you're looking for something to make you feel good. So remember the times when you and your ex were together and she made you feel good. But if you stop and think about it, there were probably a hell of a lot more times where you felt bad. Otherwise, you'd have stayed with her or she'd have stayed with you. Things just weren't working. So the point here is no contact can get your ex back, but really no contact is the time for you to heal, for you to learn, and for you to grow so you can be a better person, so you won't get yourself in situations with women where you're going to be, breaking up and then going through that heartache and the struggle and the sleepless nights and the weight loss and all those things that you suffer from when you break up with somebody. What should I text my ex after no contact? There you go. Let's try that. Okay. Remind them of a good memory. Take their temperature, flakiness. Let them know you're thinking of them. Send them something funny. Don't be a weirdo. Yeah, well.
I've sometimes haven't talked to a female or someone for a long time, and they'll send me because on Snapchat you can have memories like from 2 years ago or so, and they'll send me something like that, and it's usually having a good time.
Yeah,
yeah. What it is. So.
I did it after I broke up with my last girlfriend, and then she contacted me, and I talked to her off and on by text a couple times, and And there was a couple times I sent her a photo of us together when I was having a good time because it's good memories. There's no reason you should hate your ex just because you broke up with her, even if she ditched you or cheated on you or whatever. I don't think you should be getting back together with her if she was cheating on you or lying to you. Yeah, I mean, because if that's you deserve better than that, and that's one of the things you have to realize that you deserve better
as a person.
Yeah, exactly. What makes a man miss a woman after the breakup? We got all these things are variable. They work for some people. Everything is a little different. Loneliness is what makes a man miss a woman after a breakup. I don't know about that. I'm never lonely, but sometimes I miss my exes. I'd have to say I miss what it could have been, so to speak. When a man misses you, they will crave the cuddles and the emotional stability. Nah, I don't know about that crap. I don't believe that. Now, see, that's from a woman. And always having someone to do things with. Naturally, they will miss you when this happens. Guys will miss the security and sexual intimacy they shared with you. I don't think guys are going to miss the security. They might miss the sexual intimacy. And if you're putting your security in your woman, then you're putting it in the wrong place.
Yeah, that's usually what ends the relationship.
Exactly. That's what will destroy the relationship. That's what gets you to where you have to do no contact because you broke up with her. If you're looking for your woman for security, you're looking in the wrong place. Your security should always come from within yourself. How do I move on? Here's a good one. How do I move on from someone I love? I think this is from a woman. Accept the reality of the situation. Rely on your support system. Get out of your comfort zone. Don't be your own worst enemy. Look toward the future. Take a break from social media. I think one of the big mistakes people make when they break up with people is they check their girl's social media.
All the time, yeah.
And they be checking to see what she's doing. I've made it a point since I broke up with my last ex, which was probably a year and a half ago, I do not look at her social media. I specifically stay away from it. I don't look at her Instagram. I just don't do it. What's the point? If you want to hurt a little bit more, go ahead and do it. Yeah. You want to suffer? Pour a little salt on your wound. Go look at her social media. Yeah, especially if she's got photos of her with other guys on there.
You have to wonder.
Yeah, then that really makes
what they are to her.
Exactly. You can start thinking about all the things she's doing with him that she did with you.
Exactly.
And you don't even really know, but that's what's going to haunt you when you think about that. All right. Who hurts more after the breakup? I say, in general, the dumper hurts less than the dumpee. Men hurt, women hurt when the familiar feeling of happiness is suddenly snatched from them due to a breakup. Well, the reason people break up usually is because they don't have that feeling of happiness.
Yeah.
Even when the breakup is expected, the grieving process often still plays out. A British study reported here has claimed that men suffer more long-lasting pain from breakups than women. I'd say it's probably true because a woman usually has, what do they call them, an orbiter lined up before she's broken up with you. Yeah, she's got somebody in mind.
I've seen this thing where usually women are sad for about 3-4 months or so, and then the guy, he's not too sad at first, but then as time goes on, he usually ends up, I guess, feeling lonely or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, that's called the Warbride Syndrome because for thousands of years, when an opposing tribe come in and kill all the men and the children, they would take the women and make wives out of them or use them for childbearing, and so they had to let go of They had to let go of the family and then move on. So for now, I believe there's somewhat evolutionary program to just move on from one man to another. Not all women, but in general, you'll see that most women, when they break up with a man, they already got somebody lined up. And then men are all surprised thinking, how could she just go with somebody like that?
Or something,
move on like that. Well, she broke up with you probably 3 to 6 months or who knows how long in her mind before she ever actually left you physically.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy's all shocked. A week later, she's dating somebody else. How did that happen? Well, she'd been talking to this guy for a while. Didn't necessarily mean she was sleeping with him. She may have been, but she's already got that lined up.
I'm so hot for some reason. I can't cool down.
Okay. How do you let go of someone who doesn't want you? There's a good one. How do you let go of someone who doesn't want you? Ask yourself how determined you are to do this. Make 3 lists and refer to them often. Cut him off. This is from a woman. How about cut her off? Pray that you will find another love, get back out there. Yeah, that's another thing, too. The guys say the best way to get over a girl is to get another one underneath of you, which it's kind of crude, but maybe there is some truth there. Basically, it's kind of like when you lose your dog, your dog dies or something, you go get another puppy dog. If you lose your woman, you got to go find another woman.
Yeah.
But then again, you want to make sure you've dealt with these, whatever it was inside of you that caused the breakup of the relationship, if it were you. And otherwise, you'll end up, like I said, back in the same thing again. All right, well, that's all we're going to do tonight. Got a short one. Like I said, we didn't have too many people tonight. We're working hard, and we got to get up early and work tomorrow on Sunday, so we will shut this off tonight, and thank you for joining us, and I hope this has been of value to you. Smash that like button and subscribe, and we will see you next week